champions. Brought to you in part by the True Value Hardware Stores in Northern Michigan.
Good evening, I'm John McGowan, and tonight we come to you from Pontiac, where we'll be bringing you highlights of the Traverse City Trojans and St. Ignace Saints' efforts to bring back high school football championships to Northern Michigan. We'll begin with the Trojans in just a moment.
Primed and ready. The first quarter was like the early rounds of a title bout, each fighter bobbing and weaving, trying to assess the opponent's strengths and weaknesses. Troy took the first break of the game when Dave Lamb intercepted a Chris Hathaway pass on the Trojans' second possession and returned it 27 yards to the Colts' 33-yard line. After Troy had moved the ball to midfield, the Traverse City defense asserted itself. Chris Valerio tackled Colt running back John Szymanski for a 6-yard loss. On the next play, quarterback Kurt Schramm was hounded by the TC defense and finally tripped over his own man for an additional 5-yard loss. 7 plays into the Traverse City drive following the Troy punt. Doug Lautner takes the pitch from Hathaway and goes around end for 31 yards for a gain to the Troy 25-yard line. 3 plays later on a 3rd and 6, Hathaway rolls out and passes good to Lance Morgan for a gain of 12 yards and a first down on the Troy 9. On the next play, Lautner breaks free on the right side and scampers in for the 9-yard touchdown. Ken Klusterman's extra point made it 7-0 Traverse City. On its next possession, Troy was marching. Szymanski gained 9 yards in this carry to the TC 18, but a face mask penalty moved it to the 9. The Colts were knocking on the door, 3rd and goal at the 2, and trying to pass. Schramm was knocked back to the Trojans' 17 by Valerio, forcing the Colts to settle for a field goal, which was good, by Scott Kanya from 35 yards. That made it a 7-3 ball game. Traverse City starts another march on its next possession. The key play, this pitch to Lautner, who gains 40 yards, moving the ball to the Troy 27-yard line. 6 plays later, Lautner goes off tackle from the 3-yard line for his second touchdown. The extra point puts Traverse City in front 14-3. The Trojans had another shot at a score in the first half when Scott Henry intercepted a Troy pass after it had been tipped. TC had the ball at the Troy 38. 6 plays later, Hathaway's pass to Mark DeMeester from the 11 is an apparent touchdown. The officials ruled that DeMeester had fumbled before getting into the end zone. Halftime score, Traverse City 14, Troy 3. In their first possession of the second half, Traverse City took up where it left off as Josh Spieving breaks free on the Trojans' second play, gains 55 yards to the Troy 34, getting Traverse City out of a hole. But the drive stalls and a 29-yard field goal attempt by Klusterman is blocked. Troy tries to get moving on its next drive, and 4th down in the Trojan 41. Schramm calls the fake punt, passes to Szymanski for 13 yards, good for a first down on the Trojan 28. But 2 plays later, on the keeper, Schramm fumbles. Jeff Campbell recovers for Traverse City, and the last serious Troy drive of the day is over. Now in the 4th quarter, after a methodical 9-play drive, Tony Olson does the honors, bursting through the Colt defense for a 48-yard touchdown run. On the conversion, the Trojans fake the kick, and instead John Pampu hits DeRocher for the 2-pointer, and Traverse City takes a commanding 22-3 lead. Traverse City's final touchdown is set up by this interception. Marty Lobdell tips it. John Heckroth intercepts and returns it to the Traverse City 44, but a clipping penalty moves it back. 9 plays into the final Trojan drive, Lautner, who gained 161 yards in the day, broke loose for a 17-yard gain around the end, taking the ball to the Troy 24. Traverse City's final touchdown comes in a 2-yard pass play from Hathaway to DeRocher. Klusterman's extra point caps the scoring. Traverse City wins it 29-3, and they outgain the Colts in total yards, 461 to 205, a whale of a performance by both offense and defense. And no surprise to Trojan coach Jim Uli, who spoke at the post-game press conference.
I mean, you know, we've been able to score on Ann Arbor, we were able to score on Grand Blanc, we were able to score on Muskegon in the snow, so our ability to score does not necessarily surprise me. We have a very good throwing game, although we use it very sparingly, but Chris is an outstanding quarterback. He doesn't get much recognition for the simple reason we don't throw an awful lot. You don't throw if your running game is going good, so we don't throw an awful lot. But I think throwing has been a very important part of our whole offense.
Jim, is the first Class A team ever won 13 games. Is this the best Class A team ever?
Well, I don't know about every other one, but I'll tell you this is the best Traverse City team we've ever had, and we've had some good ones. By that, it's not only today's game, but they've done whatever it takes. We've been behind several times, and maybe a lot of people downstate don't know what we did up at Muskegon, about our 5th game, when we threw an interception and they scored with about 30 seconds, and they kicked off to us, and we scored with no time on the clock and went for 2 and beat them 22-21. So whatever it's taken, we were behind in the last 2 games prior to this one, and we were able to still come out on top. So they haven't always been able to play from advantage of being ahead of everybody. And they've just done whatever it takes. And give a lot of credit to Troy. They really played hard. They did a lot of good things. But our kids wanted it pretty bad. And I think, again, as in Ann Arbor, I think we won the game in the trenches, and we were able to block and move the ball on them and control the ball. And that's part of it. And then the defense, of course, they have a very potent offense. To shut them down to just one field goal is quite outstanding.
Bringing their hard-won state championship trophy with them, the Trojans returned to Traverse City last night and received a tumultuous welcome. Marilyn Taylor will have that story in just a moment.
The anticipation mounted as fans, family, and fellow students patiently awaited the return of the Traverse City Trojans, the new state champions. The Traverse City Gymnasium roared with cheers as Coach Uli triumphantly raised the trophy over his head and expressed his sentiments towards the victory.
This is a very proud moment. This is no doubt the greatest team that I've ever been associated with in Traverse City.
Proud parents shared in the excitement of the moment.
I'm so thrilled for the boys and the coaches. It makes me feel wonderful.
I think this is super, especially the crowd here. It's great.
For some, it was difficult to say exactly what the victory meant.
It's just, it's great. It's great. Can't describe it.
Uli described the fans as being the 12th player on the field. He said their unwavering support had helped make the Trojans #1. When asked about next year, Uli said it was too soon to think about that. He just wanted everyone to savor the moment at present. Marilyn Taylor, News C9 and 10, Traverse City.
So Traverse City was successful in its battle for the Class A state championship with a resounding victory over Troy, 29-3. We'll be back in a moment to check out the efforts of the St. Ignace Saints in the Class C battle with Lansing Catholic Central right after this.